Social media is one of them things that can either be really helpful for your business or it can be a total disaster for your business because it can turn into the biggest time waster ever. If you use social media just to scroll, then social media is not really going to be something that is growing your business. So you have to be very careful about that. You have to use it wisely, and you can also, obviously, because social media paints a certain picture of yourself, you really want to make sure that your social media actually represents what you would like it to represent. In today's day and age, I think social media should certainly be something we are all looking into and considering to use in our business. But like I said, use it wisely. So we talk in our team a lot about income producing activities. Just to make this very clear, most of social media is not an income producing activity. 90% of the way social media is being used by people is not an income producing activity. Spending an hour to 2 hours on creating a reel or an hour or two of just doom scrolling is definitely not an income producing activity, and it could be used much wiser in as your time. But we can use it very much to our advantage if we know how to. So first of all, we need to be very clear on what is actual social media. So social media, there's loads and loads and loads of channels of social media. Facebook is one of them. Instagram is another one. LinkedIn is social media. Actually, Snapchat and Pinterest are social media. X is obviously social media, but also WhatsApp is actually also a form of social media. So you can decide to use one of them or all of them or none of them or any combination in between. Each different social media platform obviously attracts different kind of people. So X, for example, is likely not the best platform to grow your Zinzino business. Where Snapchat is obviously a platform that is used very much by the younger generation. So if your target audience, which is also something that you need to start thinking about a little bit or should be start thinking about a little bit, if your target audience is in their 18, 19, 20s, if you use Facebook, you have probably missed the mark. Yet if your target audience is more like my age category, if you use Snapchat, you probably are not going to get hold of me. I can barely open it. I'm getting really excited when my daughter puts a Snapchat thing in front of me in the airplane and suddenly I'm a cat. So that's as much of Snapchat that I know. But I do know of younger generation people that use Snapchat as a very successful social media tool. Again, Pinterest is not something that I have ever used, but I also know of people that are using Pinterest as a very, very successful tool. In any case, whichever platform you are using, it is basically your shop window. You are a shop. We are in the business of sales. You are selling either the product or you're selling a business opportunity or a coaching program or whatever it may be you are selling. But fact is, we are in direct sales. We are salespeople in one way or shape or another. So what we are doing here is basically opening our shop. So this is where it starts. If somebody in some way or shape or form lands on any of these platforms, what do they find? Is your shop open or is your shop closed? Obviously, in an ideal case scenario, if in any way or shape or form you have attracted leads to come your way, you want to make sure this shop window is open. So make sure that your channels represent that in exactly that way, that your window, your shop window is open. So how does that work in practice? So every single platform has its own way of being set up. So make sure that every picture on every platform, so you have your profile picture and you have your banner in most platforms, make sure they are up to date, they are clear pictures, and they represent you in a way that you would like to be represented. If your WhatsApp picture is the nose of your dog, you might think this is funny and your friends might think this is a really cool picture, but have a little think. If this person is going to find you on the very first time on WhatsApp and the profile picture is, I don't know, two giggling ducks or a snotty nose or something like that, that you found at some point in your life funny, is this still the way you would like to represent yourself and your business? So this is something you need to think about and then obviously fix if you are not happy with the way you're currently representing your business, your shop. So you might think, oh, well, not many people are coming to certain profiles. Well, I tell you something. I have been on a Zoom with somebody the other day. I wasn't the person that invited to the Zoom. Somebody invited to a three-way Zoom, and I was the host of the Zoom. I took this person through a customer and business presentation. I've never met this guy before ever in my life, and all he could see is exactly what you can see here, Julia, my limitless mindset. That's all he knew about me. 30 minutes after the Zoom, he was on my Instagram, requested my connection on LinkedIn, and definitely had been on every other social platform that I am part of too. Why is that? He Googled Julia, my limitless mindset. And even if you think you're not so famous, you are quite famous now, because if they Google your name, if you're not famous in particular, you are only social media famous. So Google pulls whatever it can find first. And that is your Facebook profile, your Instagram profile, and your LinkedIn profile. Even if you do not even remember that you created a LinkedIn profile 25 years ago when you were, I don't know, digging trenches for boats to come from one harbor to another. So make sure you find every single platform that you are on. Use Google if you can't remember, and make sure that every single platform is optimized with your profile picture, your bio. Your bio should say what you wanted to say. You always have a small bio and a larger bio. They're in every platform called slightly differently. So go through it. If you don't know how, guess what? Ask ChatGPT, because he's really good. And if you tell him, hey, Chat, I would like to optimize my Instagram profile, he will take you through it step by step, and he will give you tips and tricks on which paths you have on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or whichever platform you are choosing, including WhatsApp. Don't forget about WhatsApp. I don't know about you, but if you go to your phone now and go into a group chat and you look at participants, and the participant list says, I guarantee you, of at least 5 people available. What does that say about you? That you are available? Is that what you would like your contact that you are approaching for the very first time to see? Oh, Laura is available today. Well, that's handy. Why don't you just put into there what you would actually, what your slogan is? If your slogan is test, don't guess, then have that written there. Or sometimes it says, so I can't really look now because obviously I've been doing this training with my team before, and everybody has done their homework and nobody has available now. But go through group chats, Let me go through global very briefly. And I am sure here somebody is at work. Goril is available. Jackie is at work. And Jay is, hey, I'm using WhatsApp. Missed opportunity. Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pick on them. They were the first three on global because they are all, so the admins came first. So use your methods, use your tools all wisely because you have them, people are seeing them, so bring it across. So if you are, again, if your slogan is test, don't guess, ooh, she is in testing. Somebody that doesn't know you might not know, or somebody that follows you on social media of your friends might have never taken exact notice of what you're actually doing. But when they then see, oh, she's clearly doing some testing, that could be then another option for you to bring your services across. WhatsApp has, you can put links in. So you can link your WhatsApp to your Facebook and Instagram. I know I have just said they can find you anyway, but maybe this person doesn't want to see or find you, but you would like them to see or find you. So the easier you make it for them, the better and easier it will be. So I would suggest you're going through all your social media accounts one by one and just try to optimize them. If you don't know how, if you don't know what to do, use ChatGPT. Make sure the profile picture, the bio, the the background image, all of them is in the way that you would like your shop, your business, your entity to be seen by others, and you would like to be found or represent yourself. And that is definitely the first step in the social media setup. And I'm very happy that now Sam is here. So Sam, we have just opened our shopfront in every single social media platform and have taken the opportunity to update our pictures and our profiles in the way we would like people to find them. And now over to you.
Hello, I'm so sorry. I was expecting this to start in like an hour and a half's time, so I must have got the times wrong. Anyway, hi everyone. So I've kind of thrown together a few things that I thought might be useful. Um, Sorry, this is like just completely thrown me. I'm definitely no expert, but what I have found is there's a few tips and tricks that have worked for me. So obviously, I think you've just spoken about your profile picture being quite a clear photo of yourself and also the bio. So there's not often that people will read your bio, but having that so, for example, on mine, I've got mum of four, EDS, wellness and life. Sorry, sorry. Showing up anyway, no extremes, no BS, real, raw, and messy. And I actually have people reach out to me and will make comment on that, and it's a really good starting point for conversations with them. Um, you don't need thousands of followers. Even if you've only got a couple of hundred followers, that's a couple of hundred conversations with people. And something that's been really useful to me is if you get new followers, is to send them a message. You can automate that as your Instagram starts to grow, but always reaching out to your new followers and thanking them for following you, or even starting a conversation and asking them what led them to follow you. And a lot of that will come from doing trial reels. So when we do reels, there's an option to create a reel as a trial reel. And for those that don't know trial reels, when you create something, you have an option. And I've just today discovered that you don't have this option on your desktop, it's only on your phone. So You can actually set it as a trial reel, which means that it doesn't get posted to your page. It gets sent out to the wider world or wider community. And then depending how well that reel does, depends on whether you want to share that with your wider community. So, um, for instance, I can sort of, when you're on your phone, you can bring them up. And for example, I did one just the other day and there was 12,000 likes. So you generally create a trial reel and then you can check to see how well that's done and what engagement you've done. Also, you'll see from your followers might have increased. For example, the other day I did one and I got over 20 new followers. So that's 20 new conversations or 20 new leads. Um, so you get the choice to whether you want to, sorry, something's coming up here, whether you want to share that on your actual page. But the good thing about this is you can put five, it's suggested that you put 5 global hashtags or 5 hashtags related to what audience you're trying to attract. So, for example, if I was doing a trial reel of motherhood, I could do 5 different hashtags for related to motherhood, and that's going to reach out to global motherhood communities or groups. If you were doing something about wellness or health, that would reach out to those different groups. So you get the option of being able to share that with your page, or you can leave it sitting there, and people will watch that. You get caught in the algorithm, and then they will generally come to your page and check out who you are. And so that's where, by having a catchy bio or a clear profile picture, it's just showing authenticity of that you're a real person for starters, and you're going to draw them into by what's said in your bio. And in regards to your bio, you can copy and paste that, put it into ChatGPT, tell Chat what you're trying to achieve, what your goal is, and the audiences you want to attract. And it can help come up with different ideas. And then you pick one that resonates or take something out of each one and put those together. I do make an effort to relook at my bio once a month at least and see if I can make any tweaks or changes. And a lot of that depends on what engagement I've had over that month. Trial reels are really fun because they're not shared with your community or your followers as such, and you get to basically trial it and see how it goes. And I do say try and have a lot of fun with that. I a while back posted a trial reel of my 3-year-old daughter walking by the pool with red high heels on, strutting her stuff, and it was just by chance that I had the camera on. And I took a video and I made a trial reel about motherhood. And I think from memory, I got over 32,000 views or shares and likes and things like that. So it's quite good to see what sort of audiences you're attracting. And it's to bring people in and start conversations. Um, and then another tip is in regards to stories, is checking, with stories, you want to post at least about 10 stories a day. And reason being is you're wanting to build trust, you're wanting to build authenticity, and you're wanting to share a little bit about you, because when people click into your page or you come up, whether that's through a hashtag or a trial reel or something that's been posted, the first thing they're going to do is check out your stories. So you always want to have an active story circle. And that can be snapshots of your day, it can be talking reels. But the key thing is you want people to feel interested in what you're doing or what you're sharing. And it's snapshots of your life or things that you enjoy. If you've got kids, it could be something about motherhood, and it's not necessarily showing the faces of your kids. It could be snapshots of you walking into kindy or walking into school. It could be snapshots of going to get an ice cream or something. The other thing that's been really good on stories is when you're in a meeting like this and there's 23 people in here, taking a short video and posting a caption, and you're sharing by doing that, you're sharing the community and what this has to offer. And so sharing a little bit about your community, about your personal life, about your interests, And then a little bit about the business without being salesy, because as soon as you be too salesy, people will just skip on by. And you want to be seen as, in your stories, you want to be seen as someone that's going to have fun, someone that's got authority in what you're sharing, or somebody that's just showing up and just being real, raw, and authentic. Um, I It doesn't have to take a long time. Some of you might think 10 stories, that's a lot. You can literally just take a couple of photos or short videos of perhaps your morning routine or things that you're doing, and then just take 5 minutes and post them with a caption. And before you know it, you've all of a sudden got 10 different things there. And people will watch your stories. You do have the option also of being able to see how many views you've had on your stories, how many rewatches. Oh, and so that's just a case of clicking on your own stories, and it will come up with how many, well, you can't really see this, but how many views and then how many rewatches. And in a way, sometimes you want people to rewatch it because obviously you've got a message that you're sharing and they're not necessarily getting the first time, so they're having to go back and rewatch it. Also, you can reach out to people that show up watching your stories daily and send them a message. So I guess it's by doing your stories and doing a couple of reels or a couple of posts each week, you're creating connection, you're creating belief, you're creating authority, and you don't want to be too salesy because at the end of the day, people are following you and you're building you're building trust and building that authority. I guess I'm going to say it again, but authority is key. And there's little things that you can do. I know that on my stories, I've talked about the testing and knowing your numbers. And the thing is that when we talk about this, to us, we understand what that means, but to our followers or people that are watching our stories, they don't necessarily know that. So jumping on a quick story and sharing what the testing is, what the reports look like, or what the oil is that we're perhaps talking about, sharing your journey with that is going to build trust and authority. And you need to sort of do that almost on repeat because you're going to have new people jumping in and starting to follow you. If you notice a spike in people that are following you, it's really good to jump on your stories and even just say, hey, I've noticed I've got a few new followers. Just wanted to introduce myself. This is me. This is what I do, and this is what I believe in. And it's almost like you're recognizing those new followers. Your followers will go up and they will go down. And some days you could gain 20 followers, some days you could lose 10. But it's not about the numbers. It's you've how many people you have following you really does not matter because you've got gold in how many conversations you have or could have or how many connections, but it's also their network. And if you're building that like, know, and trust, then and you're sharing something, if they're having a conversation and it resonates, that's when they're going to share it. And they're going to share either your story, they're going to share a reel that you've done or a post. The other really good thing is on your Instagram, you can pin posts. So having pinned posts, you should always have something that is about you, who you stand, what you stand for, who you are. Having something about like one of your pillars, which is your beliefs. For me myself, it's motherhood, it's my health journey. So I've got a couple of different things that I stand for, and you're going to resonate with certain people. I think the key thing is too is that when you're doing a story or you're doing a post or a reel, is just to show up and do it and don't rewatch it. Just turn the camera on, create something, and post it. And then don't rewatch it because we will be our own biggest critics. And I actually created a movement for myself recently where it was Sam versus Sam because I got out of my own head and realized that it was me against me and nobody else was really criticizing me as such. I just had to get out of my own way and just show up and do the things. Also, if you think about who you follow or if you share reels to anybody, my husband is terrible. He's constantly sharing reels to me and I hardly ever watch them. but he's that sort of person that will share things. So why is he sharing that? Or why are you liking a post? If you see something that is shareable or that you like, think about recreating that in a version of you. And like, don't be scared. It's not so much copying because you can recreate something in your own version or how that resonates with you. And yeah, just be clear on your message, be authentic, and speak from the heart. Just share your journey and how that looks for you. Share what you do. Um, I'm just thinking of what else I've got on here. Sorry. Um, in regards to the trial reels, does anyone is anyone unsure of where perhaps to find that?
So one question in the chat before we go to the
Yep.
trial reel. Somebody just said, so should we post more stories than reels?
Absolutely. I would almost set yourself a everyday posting stories because that's where people are going to be led straight to. They're going to come to your profile and they're going to see, let's say, the donuts on Instagram. They're going to see that and that's what they're going to watch because they can swipe through quite quickly. So definitely doing your stories every day. And then depending on what you're trying to achieve or how much time you have, trying to do at least one post and then one reel a week is a good starting point. And then as you get into that, or as you start saving photos or videos throughout your week, I tend to save things. And then on a Sunday, I will put aside an hour where I call it my creative hour. And I will put together different reels and I'll just save them. Or I can schedule them to come out during the week at certain times. And to other people, it looks like I'm onto it and I'm posting reels and I'm doing things, but I'm actually not. I've just had a creative hour. And it doesn't have to take a long time. You could actually see something that you like or resonates with you, and you can recreate that and just scroll back through your photos or through your videos and find something that you've done that fits with that and create it. But definitely stories every day. Try and put aside 10 minutes a day to do some stories. And whether that's your morning meditation, it's your gratitude, it's, I don't know, you're having your oil, it's having your morning madness of getting organized with the kids, or it's jumping onto a Zoom and going, like you're sharing that community. And I do get a lot of feedback and interaction by sharing a short video of showing up on these Zooms and people being on there because you're sharing community. And that's a lot. There's a lot of people out there that are craving community, they're craving connection, and that's going to build the trust.
Yes, so
Is there any?
you can use social media in so many different ways, as Sam has just explained. Just going quickly back to the front, it was a little disjointed because Sam
Yeah,
didn't
sorry.
know what we talked about. So obviously Sam was talking mainly about Instagram. Before you came
Oh,
in,
yes,
we
sorry.
talked about all the different social media
Okay.
channels that are available. So another thing you can do, so this is obviously this was for Instagram, but Instagram in this instance is pretty much a copy of Facebook, but it attracts a slightly different audience. So, because I am quite lazy and I'm quite not so into my social media, shall I say, I'm a bit more of a dinosaur in that kind of way. I have my Facebook and my Instagram linked. So,
Mm.
that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. This is a decision that you need to make for yourself. So for me, to save the time to have to only post on one platform. So I post on one platform and have it set to auto post on the other platform at the same time.
Mm.
So you
Yeah.
can, as again, you can schedule things, not stories. You can't schedule stories, but you can schedule all your posts and your reels. So I schedule it on one platform or I post on one platform and I will have captured two, I will have done two jobs at once. However, each platform would actually prefer its own content. So you're getting the algorithm penalizes you ever so slightly if you do this. But if you are, so because my aim is not to find all my work on social media. As I have already said, for me, it's more a matter of means of having an open shop front and bringing my story across. I do not care about that so much. So for me, the time saving of only having to post on one platform is far greater, far outweighs the negative of the algorithm. Instagram captures a much different market to Facebook. So also you will find that certain things get a lot more traction on Instagram and others get a lot more traction on Facebook. Very often, pictures get a lot more traction on Facebook because that is what Facebook is kind of like famous for still. Pictures of your food, of your family gathering, of wherever you are, with a nice caption below, you can get sometimes hundreds of likes. Where Instagram, you do not tend to get that much traction with a picture. Instagram is a much faster paced platform. People on Instagram scroll, so they like video content, they like stuff that pings at them.
Mm.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't go through. It doesn't mean that they don't see it, but it definitely means you will not get as much interaction usually on that platform from it. But you also have to remember that not necessarily having 10,000 followers or 8,000 likes is not necessarily what grows your business.
Mm.
It's bringing your message across. It is attraction marketing. If that person, like I mentioned earlier, that was seeking my information on LinkedIn and on Instagram, he wanted to know who I am, what I am representing, and what I am standing for. So for him, it was totally irrelevant how many crazy images are in between or how many people have liked that post. He was checking certain things out. You will also find that you think, oh, I have posted this. I thought this was really good content, and I didn't get a single like or a single comment for that matter. And then 6 months down the line, you meet somebody that you haven't spoken to in years, and they say to you, oh, I loved what you did there the other day. Been following everything on social media. So they're always watching. But still, get over yourself and stop overthinking it. Something is better than nothing. And the person that criticizes you the most is you.
Mhm.
If I see something on social media and I think, oh, I either don't, I even just either just scroll past and I've taken very little notice of it, or I thought, well, that was random, and I have forgotten about it 2 seconds later because the next impression has hit me. And that is exactly for everybody else. You will find very few people that will say, oh my God, imagine what she posted on the 21st of January 2025. It's only you that hyper focuses and hyper analyzes this. So just get content out there. If it's good, if it resonates with them, then they will like it, then they will comment, then they will use it. If it was no good to them, they will not really like it. Obviously, as I said the other morning, if you like to go clubbing and you think it's a good idea to post 20 pictures of you and your mate lying in the gutter drunk, that again might not be the best representation of you at this very moment of time. Again, this might at some point in your life have given you loads of likes from your friends that were out with you at the same party or that thought, oh yeah, I wonder what else she did again or he did again. But if you are using now social media as some way or shape or form of a tool of opening your shopfront and growing your business, then this is not maybe the best or the most appropriate way of posting stuff. So as much as some says, it doesn't matter what it is, but still be a little bit mindful of
I
what you're
think too,
posting.
I think too, like yes, following on with what you're saying. So I have my my Instagram linked with my Facebook, but from the training that I've done, they've said you should very rarely post on the same platform. And reason being is that you have quite different audiences, but there will be a few that follow you on both. And I guess from everything that I've learned, it's like your LinkedIn, which I'm not great with, is your professional kind of dashboard. And then Facebook is where people, like Julia said, they will see a photo and then you could write a really long post and guaranteed there's a lot of people that will read it. Instagram, the statistics are there. You have to capture people within the first 3 seconds. And if you capture them in that 3 seconds, they will watch for 7 seconds. So if you're creating a reel or doing something, and I guess Instagram is more fun, and that's where you can get creative and create reels and do those sorts of things. But it should never be longer than 7 seconds because people's attention span's 3 seconds. Instagram's like scroll and move on. Facebook is a lot more older school, I guess, where people will read stuff. And then it's just having that mixture of like personality interests, but then also business and breaking that up. And you don't have to overcomplicate it. You could just say one day I'm going to do Monday's going to be my Facebook post. Tuesday I'll do something on Instagram. And then I don't know, Thursday I'll do a LinkedIn post or something. And that's if you are using all platforms, you can sort of cover that. But they are quite different and they work quite differently. And I think that unless it's a really something that you think is really informative or really powerful, I personally would not post to all platforms. You can do that every now and then, but just trying to, even if you're changing it, have the same message, but change the photo or just change it slightly so that it's not reading exactly the same.
Yeah. Use ChatGPT to, I create sometimes one reel or one message, and then I ask ChatGPT to give me a caption for. So again, for me, Instagram and social media is the same. I'm very aware that if it's a long caption, because it's more aimed at Facebook, people on Instagram will not necessarily read it. But for me, in that instance, it's not really the priority. I will still have tried to capture it with the image or the first couple of seconds of the reel of what I was trying to bring across. I then want them to read the rest. But I would then not use this exact same thing on LinkedIn. I would have then said to ChatGPT, can you optimize this now for me to use on LinkedIn? If you are more, if you want to make it even better, then you should actually post on each platform individually and ask AI to optimize the caption and the text and the hashtags for each platform individually. But like I said, you also have to remember that this is not an income producing activity. So the more time that you are spending on that, the more time you're taking away from the time that you have potentially allocated to work on your Zinzino business. A lot of these
Yeah.
of people on this call will not work Zinzino full time. Something you have to be very clear about is that this is Zinzino is a business and you have to dedicate certain amount of time to it, ideally on a daily basis, because it works better if you work it daily than if you work, it's like having a diet. You don't diet just on a Saturday to get the same results than if you would just eat a little healthier every single day of the week. Yeah, it's better to eat a little less Monday through Sunday than to eat like crazy Monday through Friday and then eat just nothing on Saturday. That's the same is obviously with the Zinzino business. So, but if you have got 27 children, a needy husband, a massive house, an actual full-time job, 3 dogs and 5 cats, and your time is extremely limited in your Zinzeno business, I would recommend to spend as little time as ever possible on social media because it is not an income
Mm.
producing activity, but it can be used very smartly. So, why am I saying this? Just make sure you are aware of that this is not necessarily in the first instance growing your business. I had also a call with a business partner of mine that wanted to speak, this is months ago, about attraction marketing because she didn't really like what we were doing, as in, that you have to actually start conversation with people and so on. She wanted to work more with attraction marketing. This is attraction marketing. Attraction marketing doesn't mean you post 2 things on social media and then you have 250 people in your inbox that are they're not queuing from tomorrow wanting to be your business partner or your client. You are attracting people into your aura with the way you represent yourself on your socials. That is what attraction marketing is like. So it can be used in a very good way, but do not, if your time is very limited, just be very aware of that this is only helping so much. Remember, Rebecca doesn't work at all on social media. You can become a global president without a social media account. Well, she has one, but she doesn't really use it. She has definitely not grown her business on social media. Yeah. Marco Passanante is not growing his business on social media. Um, Michael Stütler, Daniela Marquardt, and what's the one in between called again? Huber.
Sascha
Any
Huber.
Sasha Huber are much more active on social media and they use the tool a much more actively. So it depends on which way you want to use it and how much time you invest into it. But importantly, your shopfront, what are you trying to show the world? How do you want to represent yourself? I think if you do nothing else over the next week, but to actually optimize your profiles and start capturing things to post. Start getting used to walking with your phone through life and just quickly taking a selfie, a picture of this, a picture of that, and create a database of things that you can use to make reels or to post as your stories without needing to set up a full set of lighting and everything else that is going to take you hours. So I think go away, find how many social media channels you already have or which social media channels you would like to populate. Find out exactly which ones you already have. Make sure the ones that you want to keep are up to date. If you do not want to keep them at all, then set them on completely private. And then we and optimize them from the beginning. So like put a profile picture, put your cover image, update your bio, go back through your messages from when you were still partying and lying in the gutter in the morning and remove what you don't want on there. If you don't want your children on there, because that's also something some people do not want, then either put all of them posts to private so nobody can see them or remove them. So we got just going to finish today with some actually explaining what you actually have to do to post a trial reel. And then we will finish for today and we'll see you again next time. But over to you, Sam, and let us know how you do actually do a trial reel.
Okay. I just had a thought. Maybe we could save that. And I've just like for next time, but I've got in regards to like doing your stories and thinking about what to post, there's things I just think that like we if we stick to that, like that's a lot easier for now. But there's things like your morning, your real life, your family, your walk, gym, coffee, behind the scenes. We've got things that you're learning, your own wellness routines, testing and protocol education is a key thing, results or experiences, our team and community. And like I said before, I have had people reach out to me and they're like, wow, you guys are always having Zooms and there's always so many of you on there and there's, different things. And also, when we've done our customer presentations, taking a short video of, I know when Lynn does our one here in New Zealand for us, she's got a couple of really cool slides and sharing that. And if you put a good caption on that, you're creating curiosity. And that's the key is you want to create curiosity and you don't want to give everything away. People need a reason to ask a question. And that's where people will jump in and they're like, okay,
Mm,
what was that slide about? Or, what was that you're sharing?
mm,
And I do have quite a lot of conversations in regards to my social media because you want to create a hook, you want to have value, curiosity, but also a call to action. Because if you're posting on your stories and you're talking about something and you don't have that call to action, people are left thinking, okay, well, what next? What do I do? How do I find out more? And people won't necessarily ask that question, they'll just keep watching. Um, so having a call to action is really, really key. And yeah, creating that curiosity, creating a hook bank, which I've spoken about before,
mm,
where ask ChatGPT to create you a hook bank about your beliefs, your values, and what you're trying to achieve. And I sometimes prefer paper, but I've created hook banks and I've printed them out and kept them in different places around the house or in the
mm,
car so that if I feel like I need to post something or I've got something to post, but you're
mm,
quite sometimes unsure of what to write or what caption to put,
mm,
you've got a hook bank and it's not saying you're going to use that, but it's giving you ideas of what you potentially could
mm,
post or could say. But just keeping it really simple and trying to have a bit of variety in there in what you're sharing.
mm,
Yeah, look, I am thanking people
mm,
um, for interacting or, sometimes putting a poll up.
mm,
I find that sometimes you won't get people like comment or share. They'll just jump straight into your DMs and send you a DM. And it is one of those things that the like, shares, and comments don't necessarily matter. Obviously, when you get them, it is fun,
mm,
but people won't do it. So, creating that curiosity, having that call to action, telling people to DM you if they want to find out more, but just remembering that we're there to educate people and to build trust. You want to be seen as the authority. So, I mean, myself personally, I have steered more to using social media a lot for my business, and I have done quite well in that. And reason being is I, having major surgery, I wasn't able to get out. I was homebound or stuck in hospital. So social media became my platform for doing that. But it's definitely not overthinking it. And like Julia said, it's not income producing activity. You can use it to your benefit, but don't overcomplicate it and just keep it really simple. As long as you're showing up and you're doing something on there, there is avenues for you to create conversations and connections globally. It does depend on your situation and where you're at. And if you are stuck at home, it does, or you're stuck in a hospital bed, it does give you that avenue to connect with other people. So, but yes, I can share more on trial reels and a whole lot more next time.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for coming on this morning. We are gonna make this a regular thing. We are gonna miss next Tuesday because Sam and myself are both traveling, but we will continue this from the 25th every Tuesday morning. Um, we will confirm the time and thank you so much, everybody. For now, the homework will be to go through all your social media channels, open your shopfront, and make sure you set this up in a way that you would like to set that up. And then we will build up on this, and you will have little tasks and little tricks and a little bit of homework every week. But for now, I think the most important thing is to actually get the foundations in place, start getting material, and maybe even start to get used to just posting a couple of stories every single day, even if you are not doing anything else yet. Post a story without overthinking it. Just whatever you do, the flower in the garden, the dog, walk with the dog, whatever it is, don't worry what anybody thinks, just do it. Thank you very
Turn the
much.
camera on, share your thoughts.
Yes,
Love
let
that.
us know.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
brilliant, brilliant, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.